These rocky shores where I call home, where my heart longs to be. Whenever I roam, it's these rocky shores, it's where I long to be. Yes, it's these rocky shores, they are home to me.
Whenever I leave here, it hurts me so, with tears in my eyes, oh I hate to go. There ain't no work, and the kids need new clothes, the bills need paying, so I must go.
These rocky shores where I call home, where my heart longs to be. Whenever I roam, yes, these rocky shores is where I long to be. Yes, these rocky shores, they're home to me.
I think to myself, where did it all go? The life I once had on the ocean's mighty road. With tears in my eyes and my head in my hands, away from my family, I hope they understand.
That is these rocky shores where I call home, is where my heart longs to be. Whenever I roam, yes, these rocky shores where I long to be. Yes, these rocky shores, they are home to me. Yes, these rocky shores, they are home to me.
Good evening, and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include: we had an interview with Charlotte Story and Gary Artle from Innovative Fisheries. Students at St. John's Central I and A.J. Matthews had their sports day earlier this week. Mayor's March for Art and Stroke Disease went ahead on Tuesday. These stories, plus community events, the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack, and more, coming up after this.
As an actor, you try to understand the person you're portraying. So when I played a person with ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, I wanted to understand what it was like having ALS. You can't. Unless you have ALS, how can you know what it's like to have your entire body shut down muscle by muscle? But it leaves your mind intact, so you watch yourself deteriorate. It's very hard with ALS knowing that you're going to die. It's even harder knowing that first you'll have to live with it.
On Sunday, May the 30th, we spoke to Charlotte Story and her partner, Gary Artle, about the funding they had received to set up a soft-shell clam industry here in Burgeo. Gary Artle with the Innovative Fisheries. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Be here.
Good.
Again.
Yes. Last week it was announced that you had received $75,000 for the soft-shell clam industry here in Burgeo.
That's correct.
We want to congratulate you.
Thank you. It's been a long, hard road.
Yes.
But, it's finally coming to fruition.
Yes. Obviously, this project is going to take quite a bit of funding. Is there...
Yes, we've been working at this since 1993 when Charlotte first came down here and for a project to look at underutilized species, and soft shell clams were identified as a possibility. And after that, you know, various work on sustainability and exactly how to structure the operation so that it would provide the type of economic return to Burgeo that Burgeo really needs. We invested quite a bit of money in development to this point in time, and now we're ready to proceed with our overall commercial plans, which is an integrated operation farming of the soft-shell clam itself and the processing of the clams in Burgeo in our building that we're going to be shortly constructing. And soft-shell clam farming and processing is really only a 4-month operation in Burgeo. So we're planning on doing some secondary processing in the other 8 months of the year, so that we're hoping to have a nice, tidy little operation, you know, that where we can provide the type of employment, you know, that was announced in the with the funding, and that I think after we bring everything on stream, there should be between 20 and 30 full-time jobs for people in Burgeo.
So I think the total investment will be about $750,000 that we'll be putting into the farm and the processing. And what that will establish, it will establish a processing plant to process the clams. We will have a depuration facility, which will be the only one on the island, and that is to where the clams to purify them before they go to market. And it also is for the operation of the farm and up in Big and Little and in Hull. So we were quite pleased. We've been working on this for quite some time. Yeah.
Now, that's our commercial plans, which we hope to fully bring on stream in the year 2000. But we also will be doing an amount of continuing development, which in the long run will pay off with even more jobs. So we're hopeful to maintain a level of development in Burgeo, performed by local people. We've identified some excellent resource here, you know, that has helped us tremendously to date. We have Linda Benoit, who's a food technologist and performs really valuable work for us. And then we have Alan Anderson, who is our farm manager. Alan's been with us since day one.
Yeah.
Day one. And Alan is very knowledgeable about clams and the whole area. And we also have Chess Durnford, that's been working with us for about the same length of time as Alan, I guess.
Yes, and I think they've learned a lot, you know, been involved from the beginning of the process about resource assessment, clam growth, spawning, and, you know, all those things you need to understand about the resource to be able to do enhancement and to aquaculture and to be able to harvest every year, you know.
Now, you did say in your statement earlier that there was 28 to 30 people that would be employed. When can we expect garing to begin?
Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to get their engineers in to look at the building, the structure, and they've got to do our diagrams. And so once that is in place, then we can start buying the materials that we need. And I suspect in about 4 to 5 weeks we can start the actual construction. We're hoping of the building.
Yeah, and it's like she says, we need the engineering drawings, because, you know, like, you can't get building permits or any of the any of the other little necessities that you need to undertake construction. You no doubt noticed that last winter there was some minimal amount of work going on around our building. This was, of course, a FRAM project, and we were required, of course, to look at tags eligible people for that. But under our operation this time, you know, these will be open to all Burgeo residents, and we will try to hire locally as much as possible. As like I say, we think that maybe it's only the engineering and some very specialized things in the plant that we will need to go outside of the town. So basically, we'll be looking for, well, general laborers to people that have carpentry skills and pipe fitting skills, any sort of mechanical skills that you would require in a processing plant. And of course, there's quite a few people here because they've already been working in fish plant in former years. So we're quite hopeful that that we can hire almost everybody from Burgeo to do our project. So.
As like Gary said, we'll be hiring all the people. I will be then contacting Jerry Dillard at Outreach, and we will have outlines of what we need. And so the applications would go into Jerry, and then we would then review the applications and then do the interviews and hire the people that we need. We are putting this all together. We were supposed to be even in production last year, but it's been a real challenge to putting all the financing in place. So we are late again this year. So we're not going to get a harvest in. We figure maybe September, October by the time the plant is actually up and ready. And then of course you got to go through the inspection with Canadian Food Inspection Agency. With our deparation facility, we have to develop the process of cleansing clams. So again, that's going to be some time we need for that. We'll have a laboratory established so we can actually do our own testing of the water quality, clam meat, and those sorts of things. So we don't expect to be able to process this year. When the water temperature gets low, cold, you can harvest clams. So that's what
yes, I'd just like to say a word about the laboratory facility. It's very difficult to do soft shell clams without this sort of operation, and it's almost impossible to make use of laboratories that are on the island. Like you have to go to St. John's if you want to test. And of course, the samples are time sensitive and also temperature sensitive. So if you can do those things right in Burgeo, it's a great help to an efficient and effective operation here. So we're quite pleased about being able to establish this laboratory, and we will provide probably 2 jobs in the laboratory for for people that are fairly well trained in those particular skills.
The other thing too is that I don't think there's a laboratory on the West Coast, so we're hoping our facility might get people wanting to do some testing in our lab as well. And with the deparation, I mean, there's other shellfish, fishes that might need deparation, so that might draw some new interest as well.
So how viable would you say that your soft shell clam industry is going to be? Is it going to be a seasonal once you get up and running the way that you want to? Will it be seasonal, yearly? Yeah,
well, I mean, the clams was what we started with, and in our markets, they want either whole meats, whole clam, live, or shucked, and they lean more to shucked meat. So of course that will provide more employment because we'll be shucking the meats here. We're then going to be looking at secondary processing as well, and we have already got our license in place for the secondary. And as well, I mean, once the building is and the facility is up and in place and licensed, I mean, the opportunities for because there's other resources there, we'll be looking at that because we want to develop our business to a year-round operation. But it's going to take time and a lot of effort and work, and so it's just a big challenge,
And I'd like to say something about what people think is maybe a disadvantage here, which is the weather. It's cooler and it's rainier than it is in a lot of other places. And what's happened in the last, I'd say 5 years, is a gradual increase in the temperature along most of the eastern Canada, with the result that the soft shell clam beds have been closed because of contamination, which has caused the shortage of this particular species in the United States, where the big demand is. And as a result, you know, that they're now looking at places where you can harvest clams because got good weather conditions.
Right.
Yes, and we're looking at other clam beds around the west coast that we can take the clams and bring them here to Burgeo as well.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Is there a quota of any nature doing with clams, or?
No one's ever dealt with clams. We're the only one that have done any research or have shown any interest here in Newfoundland, because it's never been like a fishery in the past, where in other provinces it has. But they're very easily overfished. I mean, they can be fished out because of their, you know, they're intertidal. People can have easy access to them, and you know, so I mean, without any care or concern, you go in and in a year or two you'll have your bed just fished out, and that's it.
So there is a, I'm thinking, okay, I don't know anything about clams personally, but everything else has a season. Redfish, lobster, shrimp, caribou, everything has a
Yes.
season. So obviously there must be some,
Yeah, this has a season too.
yes.
Yes.
You know, like, and it depends upon the water temperature. You know, like, you know, in order to make sure, you know, that what you don't take still lives, you cannot harvest below water temperatures of 5 degrees, and the recommended is probably 7 or 8, and ours would probably be around 10 to ensure, you know, that you don't kill what you don't take.
Exactly.
And that's the other thing that we'd like to mention. It's not really a fishery, you know, that we've converted to a farming operation for sustainability purposes. So our main concern here is we have a given area that we know has so much in the way of resource right at the moment. We also, through a model that we've developed, farming model that we've developed, we know exactly how much we can take out every year in perpetuity. You know, so the amount of product that we will be harvesting will always be there year after year, so that it's a move away from the traditional fishery into aquaculture. It's not quite the same as the aquaculture of mussels or scallops or cod or salmon, in as much as that you're managing a given wild resource. Okay, so but once the wild resource becomes part of the operation, which you get underneath your aquaculture lease, and our aquaculture lease, our standard one in the province, which runs for 50 years from the time that you get it. So we have to have at least sustainability for 50 years.
Oh, very good. What areas will you be harvesting?
We'll be harvesting Big Barrows Way, Little Barrows Way, and Indian Hole.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What about the environmental issues now? I don't know if there's any, but I know probably 5 years ago there was a big write-up on the public. Oh my God.
Piping plover.
That's the one, the piping plover.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that an issue? Is there any concerns in that area?
Well, in '94, when we did our harvest, of course, pipe and plover were there, and you know, we, you know, the designated area where
Yes.
the pipe and plover were, we spent a great deal of time with our employees and the harvesters, letting them know this is where you can go, this is where you can't go. And we haven't had a problem.
Yeah.
We just, you know, and the harvesting area is actually away from the pipe and plover.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're very aware of the pipe and plover nesting, and we don't want to damage or, you know.
Yeah.
In any aquaculture operation, you know, one of the things that you have to consider is conflict resolution. You know, and conflict resolution is simply, you know, dealing with the people that are around you and recognizing what their concerns are. And Charlotte does an excellent job of recognizing what everybody's interest is that we're going to interact with. You know, so and she makes sure, you know, that we do things that are environmentally sound, if you'd like to use that word. And to us, environmentally sound means, you know, that we would not do anything to damage any of the, you know, natural beauty or natural resources that are either on or surrounding our aquaculture lease. It's also, like it's concerned for sustainability. Sustainability is part of the environmental concern now. Like if you're given a resource to look after, you're just passing through. It has to be there for future generations. And I think we've done an excellent job in doing that. We'll leave a legacy behind to whoever picks up the farm. We'll have something that, that's well developed and they can continue to operate. You have to be concerned for the water. You can't be dumping sewage or anything that'll ruin the resource for yourself or for other people that want to use the resource for their purposes. And we've spent a lot of time and money in trying to do these things correctly. So we're hoping that that'll be recognized also.
I was involved in the fishery, of course, before I came to Bird Show. So I was part of the cod moratorium, when the overfishing and they closed everything down because it was overfished. So, and my family had a fish plant in Portugal Cove. We operated there. So, it sort of made you sit back and look at what you were involved with and what you were responsible for. And at that point, I sort of did an inventory check, and I thought, now, if I have an opportunity, I want to do it right. It takes longer, it's a little bit more costly, but I want to make sure that there's a sustainability and that we're not throwing away a product that the waste that went on before, and that you're responsible for not fishing something out. So if I don't take that initiative myself, then, that's one less person. But if everybody takes just a little bit of a responsibility for what they do, like recycling, or, if everybody contributes a little bit, then it becomes a better world.
See, and again, we go back to what some people consider a disadvantage in Burgeo, which is actually really an advantage when you're doing certain things like what we're doing in aquaculture. If you're trying to aquaculture in other areas of this province or other areas of the country, you run into this problem of conflict in usage. For instance, people are saying, well, I'd like a nice wildlife reserve because people are going to come and use the park, and aquaculture is an ugly sight on the on the landscape. The real advantage of soft shell clams is there's nothing visible. Like all the activity takes place in the substrate, so you really don't have any lines or
Like a mussel.
I said we don't want to say anything about mussel farms, but and the other thing is, like this is really an underdeveloped area with respect to tourism and things like that. So we really have not had any conflict with the other users here at the moment, and as it develops, we will get a chance to do it correctly. So we're hoping to be able to work on all that too, and along with keeping a sustainable commercial operation, because you need the sustainable commercial operation to provide some economic return for the area.
Now you're processing. Back to your processing. Will all of those clams be processed in Burgeo, and when they leave Burgeo, it's a finished product?
The biggest return on the dollar is live animal, and that's because they like to steam clams, and so that but even that takes processing. Like I don't know how much work would processing live animals be. Probably the
most work would be with the shucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the live clams would be washing, grading, checking for any breakage, and packaging and shipping. Where the shucking would be actually you get to take the meat out and then they'd be packed and then shipped to the United States, because that's where the market is. But I want to introduce them to Newfoundland as well, because the only product, the little bit of product that comes here is from the Atlantic region. So not many people eat soft shell clams, and so it's an opportunity there to introduce them to Newfoundland to do some demos and store demos.
And of course, it's like she says, the shucking is a big operation, you know, because that takes a lot of labor to get the ship. And if you can ship fresh shucked meat, that is also a very good return for us. And there's a real advantage in that we can use air freight to ship reasonably small quantities out, you know, and it's a very excellent way to get the product out of Burgeo to the markets that are going to use them. So our immediate plans is probably to look at the fresh shuck market, which will give us the most jobs in Burgeo, plus the greatest economic return to our company also.
Yeah, we have the Steamville Airport, which is not too bad.
Well, we certainly like to thank you for coming in and talking with us today. And we look forward to coming out and take a look at your facilities when you get it done.
We're looking forward to it as well.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you very much for having us here. You know, this is a really good opportunity for us to talk about something that we love. So,
yes, and I want to thank the Burgeo Diversification Board. We're working along. They're working with us on this. And all the people who've been involved in the clams up to date. And it's going to be a community business partnership together because, I mean, once the plant is established, it's up to the community then, I mean, to help this be as big a success as we can, you know. So we're delighted that it's gone this far.
Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
On Monday, the students and teachers of St. John's Central High enjoyed a day off from school. Monday morning dawned bright and sunny, and the decision was quickly made to have the annual sports day at the Sandbanks Park. The students gathered in the playground area. A wide variety of sports could be played if you were interested. There was volleyball, catch, baseball, and tossing the football, or you could just sit and enjoy the warm sunny day. The ground search and rescue were on hand to provide a lunch for the students who wanted to take the advantage of the opportunity. While we were filming, we had a strange visitor. Some say it was an eagle, others say it was an osprey. We really don't know quite what it was. We think it was looking for a free meal. On Tuesday, the teachers and students at A.J. Matthews Elementary School held their sports day. The weather wasn't quite as warm, but the students seemed to enjoy themselves. This sports day was organized a little different than the high school sports day. When we arrived, the kindergarten students were at the beach building sandcastles. Each of the primary grades had an opportunity to do this activity. Mrs. Tucker's grade 3 class was involved in a soccer game. The grade 1 and 2 class were at the playground, and all the primary students got a chance to play in this area as well. The grade 4s, 5s, and 6s took part in several races, for example, the sack race, the relay race, and the ever-popular three-legged race. The ground search and rescue was present to serve lunch to these students, teachers, and parents as well.
Hop right over the line. Hop. Okay, first is Monica. Natasha, and then Santana. Oh my God! Come on, Rebecca.
Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
Participation. Finding solutions. Getting active is easy. Canada's Physical Activity Guide shows just how easy it is. Larry chooses to play volleyball with neighbors. They're having fun. They're also enjoying the benefits of physical activity.
Well, it's just unbelievable fun. I hope you have a great time.
Larry's solution is a participation solution. Try it.
The Mayor's March for Art and Stroke Foundation went ahead on Tuesday evening. At approximately 7 p.m., Mayor Han accompanied by the town clerk, town manager, councillors R.V. Billard and Robert Sims, left the town office in an effort to raise funds for the Art and Stroke Foundation. The group walked what is commonly known around Burgeo as the Loop or the Circle and returned to the town hall. Approximately $180 was raised for this worthwhile cause. If you didn't make a pledge but would like to make a donation to the Art and Stroke Foundation, you still have time to do so. Just drop by the town office with your donation. It would be greatly appreciated. And remember, these donations are tax deductible. On Wednesday, various groups and organizations were honored at the Calder Healthcare Center with a volunteer night. This has become an annual event at the Calder Healthcare Center. For the past number of years, groups like the Lions, Lioness, UCW, ACW, Alter Gill, and the church choirs have been invited to the main lobby of the hospital for a social evening. The lobby was decorated with balloons and banners like this one. The Calder Healthcare Center staff really did a superb job of showing their appreciation and providing a wide variety of food and refreshment for the occasion. Stay with us for Off the Rack, the community events, and the BBS Playbill, all after this.
You don't have control of your body. You depend on others to care for you. Walking or sitting up or even rolling over is impossible. You have wants and desires, but you can't talk. Unlike an infant, though, you know exactly what's going on, because Lou Gehrig's disease has robbed you of everything but your mind. Lou Gehrig's disease is ALS. There is no cure yet, but with your help, we can stop ALS from killing 2 to 3 adult Canadians every day. Their future is in your hands.
Off the Rack. This week, as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a tape of the Burgeo Volunteer Fire Department doing a public service announcement. This announcement tells us the proper way to transport a propane tank. Let's look back to May 16, 1993.
See you in a row, buddy.
What you just saw there was the improper handling during the transport of propane. Now, we're going to demonstrate to you the proper way to transport a propane cylinder. Okay, as we just shown you there, that the propane tank was put in the trunk of a car, which is never should be, propane tank should never be transported in the trunk of a car, and especially down on its side. It should be always in a upright position, as you can see what's taking place now. The cylinder is put into the back seat of your vehicle. in a upright position with the seat belt fastened through the upper portion where the hand handles are, and securely seat belt in a safe position, so that in a case of an accident, that cylinder is not going to leave and bounce all around and explode or kill someone. If you're transporting a cylinder on the top of your car, for example, in a carrying rack, that is approved, providing that the cylinder is safely secured with straps so that it can't bounce from side to side or get loose and fall onto the highway, which again could cause explosions. In a pickup truck, it's safe to transport a cylinder in the back of a pickup truck, again using rope or straps so the cylinder is safely secured so that it can't roll back and forth, and again make sure it's always in an upright position. Also, another safety, very important safety feature is when transporting your propane cylinders in the cab of your vehicle, always refrain from smoking, and as well, never fully shut your windows so that the ventilation is blocked out. Always have a ventilation space left at approximately 1.5 inches to 2 inches, so that there will be plenty of ventilation for transporting the propane.
Good evening, and welcome to the community event segment of tonight's broadcast on Run the Green. The winner of the Lioness TV Bingo held on Wednesday was Janet Dominic. Congratulations, Janet. The Virgil Lioness will be having a TV Bingo on Wednesday, June the 9th at 7 p.m. Cards are $1 each, or $6 or $5, and are available from any Lioness member or in most stores around town. Please support the Lioness by playing TV Bingo. Attention dog owners. Over the past several weeks, roaming dog population has increased. Owners are asked to please find their dog and keep them at home. The dog regulations still exist. Your cooperation in this matter is appreciated. There will be a youth forum at the Fire Hall on Wednesday, June the 9th at 6:30 p.m. for youth between the ages of 12 to 18 to hear what youth have to say about the concerns in our community. Some topics to be covered includes what's in store for my future and problems facing your people in your community. The town office will be closed on Monday, June the 7th and Tuesday, June the 8th for installation of new equipment and staff training. If your group or organization has an upcoming event planned, we would be happy to advertise it for you. You can contact BBS office by Wednesday of each week to have items included in this portion of our broadcast. That concludes the community event segment of tonight's program. See you next week.
BBS Playbill. Join us on Monday at 7 p.m. when we will have the last of our Alzheimer's disease videos from the Alzheimer's Society. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Try your luck on Wednesday by playing the Lioness TV Bingo, and you could be $300 richer. Following the bingo, we will have a video entitled Cadets Caring for Canada. Tune in on Thursday when we will have a video entitled Good Things Can Still Happen from the Help Committee. Join Pansy and the gang for 2 stories, a craft, and lots of fun on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on Pansy's Garden. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night.